Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Do not run away from action. Perform it with the right attitude. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was still confused. In Chapter 2, Shri Krishna had taught him about the soul, a steady intellect, and performing action without worrying about the result. But a question began to arise in Arjuna's mind. If knowledge and a calm intellect are so important, why should he enter this terrible war? Arjuna asks Shri Krishna, Jaisi chet karmanaste, mata buddhir janardan, tat kim karmani ghore, ma niyojayasi kesho. Shlok 3.1. O Shri Krishna, if you consider knowledge superior to action, why are you asking me to take part in this difficult war? Arjuna believed that following the path of knowledge might mean giving up all action. But Shri Krishna explains that knowledge and action are not opposed to each other. True knowledge does not teach a person to run away from responsibility. It teaches them to perform the right action. Shri Krishna says, Shanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit, karyate hyavashah karma, sarvah prakriti jairgunai. Shlok 3.5. No person can remain completely without action, even for a single moment. Whether we speak or remain silent, whether we do something or postpone it, whether we make a decision or avoid making one. In every situation, some form of action is taking place. Sometimes we believe that by avoiding a difficult decision, we have done nothing. But not making a decision is also a decision. Remaining silent after seeing injustice is also an action. Postponing our responsibility is also an action. And every action has some result. Therefore, the question in life is not whether we should act or not. The real question is, with what thought and attitude should we act? Shri Krishna says, Niyatam kuru karmatvam, karma jayo hya karmana. Sharira yatra pichate, na prasiddhed karmana. Shlok 3.8. Perform the duties that must be done, because action is better than inaction. Without action, even life cannot continue. Every person has certain responsibilities. Parents have responsibilities towards their children. A teacher has responsibilities towards students. A doctor has responsibilities towards patients. An employee has responsibilities towards their work. An officer has responsibilities towards society. And a king or warrior has the responsibility to protect people from injustice. Arjuna's responsibility was to stand against injustice. Walking away from the war might have appeared easier at that moment, but would it have been right? Suppose a doctor steps back after seeing a difficult operation. Suppose a soldier leaves their position after seeing danger. Suppose a responsible person says during a crisis, "This is not my work." The result of their inaction does not remain limited to them. It also affects other people. Shri Krishna explains an important principle of action. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Tadartham karma kaunte mukta sangha samachar. Shlok 3.9. When action is performed only for personal gain, it binds a person. But when action is performed for a greater purpose, and for the welfare of others, that same action becomes a yagna. Here, yagna does not mean only making an offering into a sacred fire. Using our time, effort, knowledge, and abilities for a good purpose is also a yagna. Selfless work done for one's family is a yagna. Work done for the welfare of society is a yagna. Fulfilling one's responsibility honestly is also a yagna. This can be understood through the life of Dr. Verghese Kurien. He did not limit his education and management skills to his own personal success. He played an important role in creating a cooperative system for India's milk-producing farmers, in which small village farmers could be directly connected with their milk and their own organization. Under his leadership, Operation Flood moved forward. This effort transformed India's dairy sector and created regular income and employment opportunities for a large number of rural families. His work was not limited to his own job or personal recognition. His actions benefited millions of farmers and their families. When a person's effort moves beyond personal benefit and improves the lives of many people, that action comes close to the spirit of yagna. The problem is not in action itself. The problem lies in the attitude with which the action is performed. When a person works only for profit, praise, or success, the mind remains constantly tied to the result. The person keeps worrying, what will I receive? Will my name be recognized? Will people appreciate me? But when a person works with a sense of duty and for a greater purpose, the mind becomes more stable. Shri Krishna says, Tasma dasaktah satatam karyam karma samachar asakto hyacharan karma parmapnoti purusha. Shlok 3.19. Therefore, continue to perform your duty without becoming attached to its result. A person who acts in this way reaches a higher state. Not being attached to the result does not mean that we should not care about the outcome. It means prepare fully, work sincerely, give your best effort, but do not become trapped in fear and anxiety before the result arrives. We can control our effort. We cannot control every result. A similarly difficult situation arose in the life of Arunima Sinha. In 2011, after a train accident, she lost one of her legs. She faced a situation that she had neither chosen nor could change. But she could still choose what action she would take after that incident. With an artificial leg, she began training in mountaineering. On May 21, 2013, she reached the summit of Mount Everest and became the first female amputee to climb Everest. She could not change the accident. But after the accident, she chose her direction, her effort, and her next action. This incident helps us understand that every situation may not be under our control. But the direction of our effort after that situation is, to a great extent, in our hands. Shri Krishna then explains a principle of leadership that remains equally important even today. Yadya dacharati shreshthastat tadeve tarojana sa yat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Shlok 3.21. Whatever a respected or influential person does, others begin to do the same. The example such a person sets is followed by society. Children do not merely listen to what their parents say. They observe how their parents behave. Employees do not only listen to a manager's instructions, they also observe how responsible the manager is. People learn less from our words and more from our actions. Therefore, with position, power, knowledge and fame comes greater responsibility. A person who leads others must first become an example. A famous example of this is Mahatma Gandhi's Dandi March. In 1930, the British had imposed a law on salt that denied ordinary Indians the freedom to make salt in their own country. Mahatma Gandhi did not merely tell people to oppose this unjust law. On March 12, 1930, he himself began the journey from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi. At the beginning, 78 satyagrahis walked with him. Despite the heat, tiredness and difficult road, he continued walking and showed people the path through his own actions. On April 6, 1930, he broke the salt law. He did not stand at a distance and give orders. He walked in front, and then a large number of people across different parts of the country joined the movement. A true leader does not merely tell others what they should do. A true leader first shows through their own actions how to walk on the right path. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, "If I also stopped performing action, others would follow me. and the order of the world would begin to break down. Arjun was not merely an ordinary individual. He was a great warrior and an example for many people. Had he abandoned his responsibility during a difficult time, the consequences would not have affected him alone. They would have affected the entire society. But while performing action, a person often becomes trapped in ego. They begin to think, this success came only because of me. I achieved everything entirely on my own. Shri Krishna says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankar vimurhatma kartahamiti manyate. 3.27. All actions take place through the qualities of nature, but a person confused by ego believes, I alone am the doer. Our hard work certainly contributes to our success, but our family, teachers, colleagues, society, opportunities, and circumstances also contribute to it. Humility does not mean considering ourselves incapable. Humility means recognizing our own effort while also acknowledging the contribution of others. Shri Krishna now gives Arjun the direct path of Karma Yoga. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvara. 3.30. Dedicate all your actions to me. Give up expectations about the result, the ego of ownership, and the anxiety within your mind. Then perform your duty and fight. In this shlok, Shri Krishna is not telling Arjuna to fight without thinking. He's saying, understand the situation, recognize what is right and what is wrong, accept your responsibility, then let go of fear and anxiety and perform your duty with complete dedication. We also face many battles in life. Sometimes the battle is between the right path and the easy path. Sometimes it is between honesty and personal gain. Sometimes it is between responsibility and fear. At such moments, decisions should not be based only on emotion. They should be based on understanding and duty. Therefore, Shri Krishna says, Tasmat tvamindriyan yado niyamya bhartarshab papmanam prajahi hyenam gyan vigyana nashanam. Shlok 3.41. Therefore, first control your senses and try to defeat the desire that destroys knowledge and understanding. Today, our senses constantly demand something new. A new notification, a new video, a new product, new praise, new excitement. Gradually, the mind becomes so dependent on external things that even remaining quiet for some time begins to feel difficult. Controlling the senses does not mean giving up every pleasure in life. It means we should decide what we watch, what we hear, what we say, when we respond, and how much importance we give to each desire. Controlling the senses does not mean suppressing our emotions. It means that even after an emotion arises, our intellect should make the decision. Our anger should not make our decisions. Our greed should not choose our path. And our desires should not make us forget the difference between right and wrong. At the end of the chapter, Shri Krishna explains the order of a person's inner powers. Indriyani paranyahurindriyebhya param mana manasastu para buddhiryo buddhe paratastu sa. Shlok 3.42. The senses are more powerful than the physical body. The mind is more powerful than the senses. The intellect is more powerful than the mind. And beyond the intellect is a person's true self. When the mind moves towards a harmful desire, guide it with the intellect. When anger arises, pause and think before responding. When ego grows, remember the contribution of others. And when fear tells you to run away from responsibility, remember your greater purpose. A brief pause, a deep breath, a few moments of silence, and the habit of thinking about the consequences can prevent many wrong decisions. Shri Krishna concludes chapter 3 with these words. Evam buddhe param buddhva sansthabhyatmanam atmana jai shatrum mahabaho Kam Rupam Durasadam. Shlok 3.43. O Arjuna, understand that your true identity is greater than your body and mind. Control your mind and overcome the desire that leads you in the wrong direction. Chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita does not teach us to stop working. It teaches us the right way to act. Karma Yoga means staying involved in life and doing what needs to be done. Giving your best to your work. Everyone faces their own Kurukshetra in life. Sometimes the battle is with the situations around us, and sometimes it is within our own mind. Sometimes, like Dr. Kurien, we must connect our work to a greater purpose. Sometimes, like Arunima Sinha, we must keep moving forward despite difficult circumstances. And sometimes, like Gandhi, we must lead from the front and set an example through our own actions. This is Karma Yoga.
If you enjoyed this video and would like to explore the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, and other great epics of Bharat, please consider subscribing to Mahakavya.